Sounds of Christina Eddie. They're in the right place. Where inspiration meets real conversation. Lounging with Christina and Eddie. Love, laughter, keep it steady. 25 years still vibing strong. Feeling like you finally belong. From relationship gems to real life wins that bring a soul and spirit with every spin. Award-winning voices, storytellers at heart. With Sledge House Media making magic as an art. So unwind up, live, set your week off right. Lit one ghost and shine that light. Lit one ghost and shine that light. With your favorite couple.
Welcome back to Lounging with Christina Eddie. This podcast is all about relationship topics and advice. I am Eddie.
And I'm Christina. And this podcast is an offshoot of our weekly radio show on WLIT 106 radio on Sundays from 3 to 7 p.m., broadcasting worldwide on Odyssey, Audilist, Apple Music, and Amazon Alexa. And, it's also a very special week. Usually we have a topic of the week, and this week it is a topic. We're celebrating 33 years from the day on October 9th, 1992, that we met and became a couple.
Yes, that's when she had a friend ask me out in high school. Freshman year, second week in high school.
Yes, I did. I asked him out. We're going to get into all of that. But this is so special because when we got together years ago, we never thought we would be here today with all of this that you're hearing from us on a podcast, that we've written books, that we had a film, that we have a radio show, that we
screenplays, awards.
We have 2 daughters. We have 4 degrees between us. We've been on billboards in Times Square and City Field with the
movie
Mets,
theaters.
Brooklyn Cyclones.
With the Mets, film was in the movie theater, red carpet events and all that. Yeah, we've been blessed to go through a line. We also had some downtimes too. We both was unemployed at the same time, but we both had to make it happen. So yeah, we knew each other 33 years, but we've been married 25. So
yeah, and so married for 25 years. And so this episode is all about our journey and how we got together back then, and then also our keys to success. So, because everyone always asks us, how do you stay happily married for 25 years? What keeps you together? What are the keys? Let us know. And so that's what we're giving you in this podcast episode. So we hope you're tuned in, stay locked in for the whole episode. We're going to give it to you. And we also talked about this on the radio show. So if you're tuning in as our radio listeners, the first time to our podcast, welcome. And the cool thing about the podcast is we can talk about this topic the whole time. No commercial interruptions, music breaks, or anything like that, which we love that about the radio show. But this is cool because if you just want to hear the topic, you get all of that and plus some. So you get some bonus conversation as well. And so what we want to do is we also want to tell you that you can learn more about our story by reading our memoir, The Story of Christina and I. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on our website, sledgehousemedia.com, Barnes & Noble, everywhere books are sold. And then we have a special, smaller version of that book. It's called Our Marriage. It's an essay. It's a really short read, maybe like 30-minute read. And we give you just the tidbits, the key points of what you want to know about our marriage in there. And then you can also, if that's not enough, you can also watch our story, our documentary, award-winning short film documentary, Joined by Fate, on Fossum TV. It's on our website, sledgehousemedia.com. And if you have an Amazon Fire Stick, you can just search it up, or on Vizio TVs, Samsung TVs. You can just search up Joined by Fate and you can watch our short film. It's like 38 minutes and it's a good story and everyone loves it. And that's why it got so many awards. But today we're going to really get into our Brooklyn beginnings because we're from Brooklyn, New York. If you haven't realized that by now, if you're joining us for the first time, originally, we live in Maryland now for about 20 years. We're military family. My husband Eddie, he was an Army veteran. So we have lots of, Eddie said, lots of ups, downs, love lessons, all of that. So shall we start from the beginning?
Yeah. Second week of high school, freshman year, I was following this girl that was in my gym class. I thought she liked me, so I'm following her, and she went into the lunchroom, and I was cutting class. The second week of school, I was cutting class to follow her. But when I did, I sat next to her in the at lunch table, and across from her was you and another girl named Tiffany. So I do nothing up, and the next couple of days go by, and you and that girl and Tiffany, you always walk to the train together. But that girl took the bus first. So we dropped off at the bus, then we all walked to the train station together. So one day, me and my man Lawrence is just walking you and that girl didn't come to school. So me and Lawrence kept walking you and Tiffany the train. And, right in front of McDonald's, she goes, hey, she stops and then, look back and you with some feet back. And she goes, hey, if my friend Chris asks you out, would you go out with her? And I looked at Chris. She was beautiful, but I was like, this is gonna be hard
I wasn't easy.
she was easy.
I wasn't an easy girl. You know what I
But
mean?
my man said, hey, if you don't, I'm gonna ask her out. And I couldn't afford him trying to be
So
with
you
you
didn't
out
want
here.
him to step in of like me having a relationship with him.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So, we walked back to Chris, all of us walked back to Chris, and me and her exchanged numbers. And I talked to her that night, and it was over. Right there, our lives changed when I called her that night. Well, really, when I say yeah, but when I called her, it was just a different feel, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be with this girl for a minute, and it took off from there.
Yeah, and I sent Tiffany over there because I wasn't sure if he liked me because the other girl, we were so different from each other. So I wasn't really sure if he was my type or if I was his type, rather. I wasn't sure if I was his type. And so that's why I sent Tiffany to kind of play this matchmaker role right in front of McDonald's on Rockaway Parkway. So shout out to McDonald's if you're listening to this. Maybe you want to sponsor us, partner with us. You're making love stories happen, love connections. So that happened. And after, like Eddie said, after that, he was just the most charming guy. He would pick me up from my class. He would basically leave his class early, walk to my class, make sure that I left when my class was over, he was standing outside the door. And then he would walk me to my next class.
And then make sure that my class I was going to would be late if I was still going there.
So that's what he was doing. I had my own escort to each class. And then he also would bring me roses, y'all. He would bring me roses. And let me tell you, this was epic. He actually gave me roses. This is how he did it. Listen to this. He walked to my class with the roses, knocked on the door. This is while class was in session. It was English class, freshman year English class. I want to say it was Mrs. Keller. If I'm not mistaken, it was Mrs. Keller. And he walked to the class, asked her if he could give the roses, a dozen roses, red roses, to his wife. He said, "Can I give these roses to my wife?" And surprisingly, the teacher said yes and allowed him to give me the roses. And it was just like so epic. And everyone just thought it was the smoothest thing. And it wasn't the first time. Like he did it in English class. And then 10th grade, he did it in Spanish class. And again, the teacher let him go. And it's because Eddie's just so charming and charismatic. And so everyone loves him. Everyone loves Eddie. He just has the greatest smile, and it's just that's what won me over. I just loved his smile and his swagger and everything about him. So all that to say, that's how we got together until he broke up with me.
16th birthday, I called that night on a 16th birthday and broke up with
guys, boo.
And it was one of the biggest mistakes I made in my life. And I asked her back out the next day. And she said no, because I know I made a mistake. But like I said on the radio, and I tell people all the time, like as a teenager, so when I was 12 years old, my house burned down. My apartment burned down, and Red Cross and Salvation Army gave, we had to get clothes from them. But I also have friends in my neighborhood who gave me some of their clothes, and they used to gig on me about, wearing their clothes, or the clothes that I had that didn't get burnt smelled like burnt smoke. So I used to wear that sometimes. So even so, then I moved on to high school, and I didn't have the flyers clothes. I always wore army fatigues, and not because that's, you know, I'm living in a dog eat dog world, and that's how I was living.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I couldn't afford anything else
Yeah.
at the time. So, and Chris loved name brand clothes and stuff like that. So she used to hang out with people who had it, and had these inside jokes with each other, because the inside jokes like, yo, the guest story or whatever the case may be. I just knew one day she's gonna be like, look, we gotta break up because you're not fly enough, you know.
No,
So I
no.
broke up with her. Beat her to
He broke up with me, and the truth was I didn't care about that stuff for him. I love like nice things. I really do. I'm an Aries, so I love like over the top. Like I just I am a lover of fashion and clothes and all of that stuff. I like looking nice, but it didn't matter that he didn't have those things because what won me over was who he was. And I told him this today before we started recording this podcast. I said, "Listen, think about it this way. I approached you. I was the one who approached you. So that should tell you right there that I liked you and you didn't have those things. It was just who you were. It
yeah.
was your charm, your personality, your
But as a young person, especially a
I
young
loved your
man,
smile. I loved
you're not seeing that.
your humor.
You seeing sooner or later that someone's gonna come up with a car and gonna try to sweep you up your feet and everything else. So you just like, you know what? I know it's coming. So, and moments like that define our relationship, because it took us two different ways that we didn't want to go meet other people and date other people, but in many ways, because we drawn by fate, it
Yeah.
had to be like that. That way we go live our lives. That way, if we ever got back together, which we didn't until we got married, we get to see part of life that, you know, we not missing or
Yeah.
always wondered about. But
It-
it was good though.
Yeah. It put us, like you said, it gave us an opportunity to date other people and grow separately.
Yeah.
We did. Even though he did come and ask me back out again
And
the next day,
so and you
and I
said
said
no.
no.
But then, by me doing that, I fed you to the wolves. The guys that used to
Yeah.
look at you all day or see us together that never said anything to me, but then, because they know I put these hands on them. But until we broke up, that's when they approached you and stuff like that. So, you can't get mad over that. But then
So
at the same
they were
time,
lurking.
that's when I became on my LL mode,
Uh-huh.
my hey lover mode, I work out every day thinking about you and, you know, where's your man at? You shouldn't be taking, because I used to go pick you up from work
Yeah.
at night.
He did. He
Pick up
would.
from work,
Even though I had a boyfriend.
take her to the movies,
Mm.
still go to her parents' house, go visit her while she had a
Yeah.
man
He
and
still
her neighborhood. We different neighborhoods. So I was on not caring mode. Like, what are you gonna do to me? Right.
Yeah.
Even in front of her boyfriend.
And
So
that also attracted me to him because I think that was just like, wow, he just so like risk taker in that sense. Like he was like, I don't care. I love you. Like you're my girl. Even if you're with someone else, he will always say that. You're my girl. I don't care what anybody says. Eventually we're gonna get back together. He would always say that. And my mom even used to say that we were gonna get married one day. And I was like, you think so? And she said, yeah. And I'm like, I don't know. But we kept playing these games. It was like cat and mouse game for wow, like 7 years or something like that. We did that on and off. And we knew but the crazy thing is we knew that we loved each other.
and we knew there's no
We
one else for each other.
knew that we loved each other. We knew it in our heart of hearts. We knew it. And
Like one
Yeah.
time I met you at the Grief Fest. Was it a Grief Fest?
oh yeah, well before we get
In
there,
Philly, yeah.
so listen to this. This is something that happened. Well, fate kept bringing us back together. So we'll
Yeah.
get to that. We'll get to that. But and that's why our movie is called Joined by Fate. Make sure you watch it. But check it out. I was with another guy in senior year of high school, and we were going out to the prom together. And everyone knew that me and Eddie were like the perfect couple. Like we were supposed to be that couple that just stayed together. And everyone knew this. Everyone knew it. And it just so happened that I was going with a different guy to the prom. And lo and behold, the next day, Eddie called me and said, hey, you want to go to the movies? And I'm like, what? I just went to the prom with my boyfriend. You're asking me to go to movies with you? But I said yes because I loved him and I knew it was almost like fate telling me, you know what, you were supposed to be with Eddie yesterday, not with this guy. You were supposed to be with Eddie and you did not. You did not go with Eddie to the prom. And so this is your opportunity to meet. And so we did. We went to the movies and the movie we saw was called Eddie.
Whoopi Goldberg, yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg. That's not fate for you. I don't know what it is. And
Mhm.
so I followed my heart and I said, okay, we're gonna go to the movies. But guess what? We didn't get back together. And even before that, Eddie had broke his leg. He was on a football team in high school. He broke his leg, and I was a cheerleader.
Senior year.
I was a cheerleader. So we were, we were like this perfect couple in high school. Like we should have stayed together. But anyway, he broke his leg playing football, and there were two Eddies on the football team. And someone said Eddie broke his leg, and I heard it in my neck, like, what? Eddie? Who? My Eddie? And that's the first thing I said. My Eddie? And that, but again, we weren't even together. So why am I calling him my Eddie? Right. But he was my Eddie. And the moment I heard, I called him, asked him if he was okay. I came to visit him. And, we had our own special moment, together. And that was another opportunity for us to get back together.
Yeah, we always had opportunities to get back together, but I guess it was like I said, I saw you a couple of years when you was in college, your first year, something like college. Like every year, we saw each other at least one time out of nowhere.
Yep.
I went to the Greek Fest in Philly and I saw her and just grabbed her up.
Yep.
No one was gonna see her. I grabbed her up in front of her man. If a man was there, his boys, I didn't really care. I had two heavy hitters with me. I went out there with, so I didn't really care.
He grabbed me from behind. I was standing with my friends talking, and this is back in the 90s. So this was the Greek picnic in Philadelphia. Anyone, shout out to Philly. I went to Temple University, and there was a Greek picnic at Fairmount Park every year where all the Black Greek fraternities and sororities would come and they would have like a picnic and celebrities would come. Like there'll be performances and, just people gathering and a lot of college kids. And so I was just happened to be there with my girls. My boyfriend was there, the one I was with at the time. He was there. He wasn't exactly with me, but I was with my girls. And next thing you know, all I felt behind me was someone picking me up. So originally I thought it was my boyfriend, but turned around and it was Eddie. And I'm like, oh my gosh, And so he hugged me. And I just felt the instant love in that moment. And he did too. And we really should have got together that day. If that's one thing I regret. I was like, dang, we should have got together. That day was the day we really should have got together. And that was a year before we hooked up again and got engaged. So that was 1 year before we got engaged. He went to the Army, maybe about 6 months later. He ended up going to the Army and I was with the other guy still. And I went through a really bad breakup with that
And
guy.
I was writing you in boot camp.
Yeah. He would write me letters and it was just so funny because my boyfriend at the time saw those letters and saw that Eddie sent me pictures and all of that. And he's like, what's going on here? But guess what? Me and the boyfriend had broken up by this time, but we were also going through this kind of on and off a thing, even though he had cheated on me. Right. And I was a fool for taking him back, but that's what happened. And so the guy at the time said, what, you still love him? You still love Eddie? And I said, yeah, of course I love Eddie. I always will love Eddie. And he said, oh, okay. I see where I stand. I'm like, I'm always going to love him. And so that never stopped, right? But me and the guy, we finally broke up and it was December of 1999. This is like the big Y2K Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve time. And this is when the world's supposed to end because of Y2K. And I was going through this bad breakup with this guy. And I got on my knees and I prayed to God to send me the man I was supposed to be with. And I kid you not, the phone rings and it's Eddie. And you can also...
No, phone rings your mother.
It's my mother. It's my mother telling me that it's Eddie in Brooklyn.
Which I shouldn't have been, but that's a different story.
Right.
That's why it's drawn by fate.
Yes. And so you can watch our film, but you can also listen to our story. We performed this live on stage as the Christmas Eve story on Stoop Stories at the Senator Theater in Baltimore. We performed this in front of over 400 people live. So
on
you can
stage.
go to our YouTube Sludge House Media, and it's so cool because we performed it in front of a crowd, and you can hear the crowd cheering and all of that. So if you love, listen to that. If you can't, look at the movie. But I said highly suggest you watch the movie. But anyway, so that happened, and we were engaged 3 days later on Christmas Eve. And from that moment, Eddie decided that, and we both decided that we would elope. And we eloped 2 months later. So we got engaged on Christmas Eve. We eloped February 18th, and we got married.
A snowstorm in Philly,
Snowstorm.
Roadhouse, $99. And after we said I do, we only had 2 quarters in my pocket, and the rest is for y'all to read.
Right.
Read and look.
Watch this, or watch the film.
We talked about before, where I think a couple weeks ago, where as a woman, it's okay to take your shot. It's okay. Like,
Last week.
let's date, or let's get married, or I want you, or it's okay. You're gonna find your answer out no matter what.
Right.
Right. But if you don't take your shot, and you're waiting for someone else to take your shot. Like at that moment where Tiffany asked me out for you in high school, that was the only shot we had.
Yeah.
Because then that means if we didn't approach that moment, who knows, we ever been talking to someone else. You could have been hanging out, dating someone else, and went down the wrong road or a different road. I would have went down a different road, and we probably never would have been like, okay, it's time for, and even if we dated after that time, like junior year or senior year, right? Who knows if the love would have been like that, what it is now.
Right. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta go with your heart. And we say that our love story is a testimony.
Be smart about it.
Yeah. Be smart about it. But something we always tell you.
Yeah, be smart about it.
But in our case, we knew that we were supposed to be together. And ultimately we surrendered, and we said, okay, God, you want us to be together. We're gonna make this happen. And it didn't matter if we didn't have money for a big wedding at that time. Which since then we had a $99 wedding, which went viral, by the way, on Black Love's Instagram this year, because we've been married for 25 years after
She had a
$99
high school
wedding.
prom dress on. I had my classmates from on. We was broke.
Yeah, we were.
When we first got married and we got our first townhome down in Savannah, we used to take bed sheets and put it on the windows.
Right.
Milk crates standing as furniture for a TV, no cable. We had a neighbor that was a veteran at the time, a retired veteran. He gave us 2 twin-size beds, and we put it together.
Yep.
And made one full size till we had a bed on. Yeah, we made it.
Yeah, it's a testimony. I mean, we both.
But those are broke times.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into the keys to success. Our 5 keys to success. One thing I do want to also say is, it was a testimony. Our story is a testimony to follow your heart, and just kind of remember that love is really what matters. Love is what matters.
Gerald Levert song, Nothing to Something.
Nothing to
They
something.
said it when it lasts. They said it when it lasts.
Right. But so we want to get into the keys to our successful marriage, or we want to share?
Yeah. But like I said before that, I was in my LL mode, just looking at you, working out every day, following you. Hey, why you left Chris alone with me? Stuff like that. So yeah. So the first key that we have to our marriage is laughter every day. For some way, some reason, no matter how bad it is, we be mad all day. Yeah, we get mad all day. Somehow, some way, we laugh at least once a day. And don't ask us how. Maybe watch the TV. Maybe it's our cat. It's something. But for some reason, somehow, we find a way to laugh every day. So you got to laugh.
Yeah, every single day. And, it really breaks the tension if you are going through something tough times, because we've been through tough times, but it reminds you that you're on the same team.
Never had infidelity.
Same team. No infidelity. We
face everything else that I could think of, but we never cheated on each other. So,
no, we've never had that. And we keep the friendship alive. That's a big part of it. We were always laughing. Like, Eddie makes me laugh every day. He has such a great sense of humor, and that's sexy to me. So, that's really sexy to me. And then I think the second key is partnership. We support each other's goals. It's really about us being a team.
If you take the wheel If you the driver side, I'm happily in the passenger. If I take the driver side, you happily pay. It's like we're not pointing fingers like, hey, you got to do this now. You have to be the
In our
driver now.
marriage, in our
Yeah, nah,
marriage.
we
Yeah,
know it's you win, I win, you win, and it's been like that since day
exactly.
one. Like so,
Yes.
day one, even though we have family, we know we only have to depend on ourselves,
Yes.
right?
We got it.
Army family, right?
Yeah.
And we don't know anything about being an Army family. So we had to
No.
depend on us to survive and to move on. But the lucky thing about it that we had love for each other in the past before we got married.
Yeah.
So that helped. But being in the military and married, this married is rough.
Hmm.
It's rough temptations and everything out there. So we had no one but ourselves.
That's all we had.
So we had to take driver seats and passenger seats and understand our lanes. And that's been our marriage. And even right now in our business, we know our lanes. We respect our lanes. We
We
respect the
respect
craft
it.
that you have understanding of. We may
Right.
argue
Yeah.
or dispute each other, but we can't dispute the fact that you're better than me in this area and I'm better than you in this area.
Yes.
And that when we work together, we make it happen.
Yeah, I
So
agree. I 100%
that's the
agree.
partnership we have.
Yeah, and we got to show up for each other. When I was working on my degree, we got married. I was a senior at Temple University. I was in my last semester.
Pregnant.
Before that, I was in my last semester. We got married in February, and I had to do one more semester in the summer. No, it was going to be a semester in the summer and a semester in the fall. I was supposed to graduate in December. And I was supposed to graduate in December. And in between that, in the summer, between that time, I was pregnant. We became pregnant with our first daughter. And I said, I'm going to continue school and because I'm graduating in December. And he was stationed Eddie was stationed in Georgia. So the plan was once I graduated, I was going to move down to Georgia with him. And, that's it. We started our lives together. We're having a baby and everything. And it turned out that because we had so much going on, movement and got married and having a baby and all this stuff, I did not pass one of my classes. And I knew I wasn't going to pass it because I had so much going on. I was working 3 jobs and all of this stuff while I was pregnant. And so I just said, you know what? I'm going to take a semester off and figure it out. If I have to go back in the summertime, I'll figure it out. And Eddie supported me through that. He supported me through that. And I worked and I had to take a class at Savannah State University. So shout out to Savannah State University, which is a HBCU. If it wasn't for Savannah State University, I would not have my first degree. So shout out to them. And Temple University allowed me to be a transient student there, which I didn't even know that existed, where you can be a student at your home school and take a course at another college if you get approval. And so I did that and I was able to complete my degree while we were married that first year and a half, 2 years. And my daughter was a baby. And so I finished that. And Eddie supported me through that. And then when I was done with my degree, Eddie decided he was ready to go back to school and get his bachelor's degree.
Yeah, I used to, work the TV station from 12 a.m. to 8 in the morning. Then right after 8 in the morning, after I got off, go back to school. Right up there, like 2 blocks of drove. No, like 5 blocks drove to school. Did that for like two years.
Yeah, Georgia Southern Armstrong
Like
University.
2.5 years. I graduated within 3 years.
Yep, he graduated in 3 years.
Yep, took 6 classes a summer. But in the whole time, even I'm working, like the TV station wasn't paying that much. They had like what, $12 an hour?
Yeah.
But we did what we had to do.
God was good. God
Kept
was
switching
good.
back for it was times where we both were
Yeah.
unemployed.
Yep.
God just held us down, God
Yep.
Jesus Christ, and we just kept going.
Yeah.
Things get better. You see the tunnel.
We
compliment each other.
Yeah, the thing was we knew no matter what, love was what was important to us because those years we spent apart, we knew that even if we were together and things were rough, it's better for us to be together and go through it together than be apart and do well without each other. Because that wasn't what we wanted. We wanted to be together. And so if that meant we were going to tough it out, we were going to tough it out. And so he got his degree, Eddie earned his degree. And then from there we moved to Maryland. And then we've been in Maryland for 20 years now.
But our first couple of years we stayed low on money because, we never live with each other. So every time we argue, I'm trying to get her to be quiet and she won't be quiet. So I'm breaking stuff. So everything I broke, TV or throw something down the steps and break something,
Printer.
printer, and we had to
Yep.
go back to Best Buy and go buy, or Walmart
Yeah.
and go buy it. So I learned that Lex the first 2 years and we stopped doing that.
Yeah, and we also learned communication.
Yeah,
We had to learn communication. We learned each other's love languages. Those first, and for most new couples, those first 7 years are the toughest. They are the toughest because you're going through so much. You're learning so much. It's the toughest time.
The very
did, and it was because we didn't know each other's love language.
Yeah.
And Eddie's love language is physical touch. Mine is acts of service, words of affirmation, quality time. And so we had to grow together. And then from there, Eddie went back and got his master's degree at Towson University. And then a couple years later, maybe, I don't know how many years later, 4 years later, 3 or 5 years later, I got my master's degree at George Washington University. Shout out to them. And then now Eddie's supporting me through my doctorate, and I'm working on my doctorate right now. And let me tell you, this husband of mine, he's so supportive. And when I got accepted to Marymount University for the Doctorate of Business Administration program, it's a DBA. Eddie gave me a congratulations card, and I'm going to read it to you. He said, "To Chris, congrats on getting into Marymount University doctoral program. It is truly an honor being married to the woman of my dreams. Let's go." And that's how it's done. Love, Eddie.
Yeah, let's go. You win, I win. I win, you win. It's always been like that. Let's go. If you don't support each other, you can't expect anyone else to support you.
Right. And you have to be a team. It really can't be about egos. It can't be about, oh, you're doing better than me, or, get competitive. A lot of couples are very competitive, believe it or not. And they aren't able to cheer for each other, support each other. Or
maybe at least one of them is not.
Yeah.
One of them can't see the vision.
Right.
Or see long-term vision of what could be.
Yeah, and we're in this together. And for you and me, like we have two daughters. We built a business. I started another business. I started 2 businesses. Eddie's altogether, I've been CEO of 3 businesses, right? The business that we have together, Sledge House Media. Then I started another business, and he supported me through that, which is a lot, right? And so he's been so supportive through that. And we're supporting each other. And starting this business was really Eddie's not the company to start it, but to write our memoir was Eddie's idea. He sparked the whole thing.
It's sort of like give you the ball and you run with it.
And then from there, yeah.
But there's been times where, we have to, give our opinion like, no, don't do that. Or yes, you have to do that. Or no, don't go that route. Or don't do that. It's not like everything we do, we support each other on.
True.
We support each other. We chose to go that route. But then sometimes like, nah, that's not a good idea.
We disagree.
And we disagree. And then we either take it from there and move on. But it's when couples go, oh, that's a long time, or how you do that, or, how can you stand each other? I never had that. We stay mad at each other for a couple hours, maybe a day, but we're not going nowhere. So I never had that. I need to get out of here. I need to quit. And I'm not blaming anyone if they did that. I don't know the situation, but me, I never felt that. She's killing me and I got to get out of the situation. I never felt like that.
Yeah. And the other thing that happens is we have another key to success is a 10-second rule of connection that we have. And that is every day we take 10 seconds to connect with each other because we have such a strong physical attraction. And you can imagine we work together. We're always spending time together. Sometimes that attraction can take over and we won't get any work done if we succumb to our physical attraction to each other. So we had to set a rule, and that rule is a 10-second rule where we have the connection, we'll touch each other. Eddie will let me know that he's thinking of me by touching me, or a 10-second kiss. That's all. And we can only do 10 seconds because if it goes past 10 seconds, we're going to third base and a home run and the whole thing.
Yeah,
So we have to cut it off.
and we respect that.
Mhm.
That's our marriage. We respect that.
It's only because we have work to
And
do,
and it's neutral. It's neutral. We both know after 10 seconds, we know where we going after that. But even during the day or whatever, we don't kiss every day, right? So we married 25 years. We don't even kiss every day. We say good morning. We share ideas, but it's not like we kiss every day, right? But we do see each other. We make sure that, okay, I make sure that I see you.
Yes.
I knew you here. Like I'm touching you, or we spooning, or we go back to back, butt to butt, whatever. Somehow, some way during the day, I notice you. I know
Yeah.
you here. Not
Right.
because I see you in my eyes. I know you here, and I'm
Right.
letting you know that
I see you. Yeah.
touching you.
And that's a very important key for a marriage to last this long, is you can't let that physical intimacy die. It's very important. That's that's one of our the advice that we give couples is don't let that die. You have to still have that connection that brought you together. Don't ever let it. I don't care how old you get. Something, even if it's just to touch each other's hand or give each other hold each other's hand. One of the sweetest things that Eddie does, and he hasn't done it in a while, but maybe this is a hint. He would kiss my hands all the time. And that right there alone just makes my heart melt. Like, you just kiss my hand. Oh my gosh.
So
That melts me.
I think it goes back to like music, right? So I grew up, my father listened to OJs and the old school, right? And the old school always had this message of, if you don't take care of home, someone else will, right? So if you want a happy home, you take care of home best way you can, financially, wherever you can. You don't have to be the richest person or whatever, but you just got to take care of home. And I think music today, they have a message like, I could please you and I can make you happy, but no one is talking about take care of home, right? You don't hear that. Some songs you hear, like especially in the 2000s, you hear someone, I give you the keys to the Lex. Like, yo, what kind of, like she get her own Lexus. She had her own Lexus. Like that's not impressive. That doesn't make someone's now. There's no one talking about you don't have to go anywhere. Gerald Levert did it. I think Gerald Levert, last person who sung songs like you ain't gotta go nowhere.
Right.
You don't even have to wear the same thing twice and I'm happy.
Right.
Or you don't have to have your hair done, right?
Right.
But I think that's missing out of music, that even for women singing it, like I could please you, I could make you happy, but no one's saying take care of home. And I grew up with that music. So that's always been my back of my head, take care of home.
Right. Yeah. And then, another rule we have is no one sleeps on the couch. So if we do have an argument, like last night, we did have an argument about the topic of our radio show, and this podcast was supposed to be something totally different. And it's so funny how we came back to the keys to our successful marriage after having that argument. But, at the end of the day, we always say, no matter what happens, it's non-negotiable. Even if we're mad at each other, we sleep in the same bed, no matter what, because we don't want that resentment to create a wedge in between us. Like if we're having a distance, rather, can create resentment. And so we don't want that. We rather just stay together, and we sleep in a queen size bed. So the last episode of our podcast, we talked about that because it keeps us close. And so that's something that we also recommend to couples. And then the final key is marriage is like a fingerprint. Last but not least, because no two marriages are the same, and you can't compare your marriage to anyone else's. Your friends, your
They might have the
parents.
same problems, same issues, same goals, but the fingerprint is always different how to reach those goals. We might have the goal of starting a company, and someone else might have a goal of starting a company, like media company, right? But we can't take the path they took,
Right.
because it's different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They might have a different mindset. We might have a different mindset, but it's different.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And so that's what we try to tell people. So there you have it. Those are our keys to happy marriage.
Our happy marriage.
Our happy marriage.
You can use them and try to be
Yes. Laughter, partnership, connection.
Can't guarantee it.
Grace,
But it
helping
can help.
each other, supporting each other, staying together, physical intimacy. And that's 33 years together, guys. 33 years, 25 years married, and we're still choosing each other every day.
Gotta tough it out, man. You just gotta tough out the good or bad times and be like, okay, see this had surgery, having a baby, all that. You just got
Yeah. Yeah, and if you want more, because we could talk all day about this, but if you want more about our story, you can go to our website, Sledge House Media, get our book, The Story of Christina and I. Our marriage is an essay. It's a short excerpt. It's a short read. It's a great. If you really just want the tidbits, the keys to our marriage, you can look at that, read that. And then we also have a special book called Engaged on Christmas Eve. That's a rom-com that Eddie and I wrote together. It's really Eddie did a great job. This is his first time doing a rom-com, and it was my brainchild idea, and he just wrote it beautifully. And it's about being engaged on Christmas Eve based on our story. So that's another one. And then watch our film Joined by Fate. You can stream it free. Okay, free 99 on Fossum. You can go to Sledge House Media and look it up. It's also on Amazon Fire Stick if you want to look at that on your TV. And we hope our story reminds you that love isn't about perfection. It's about presence, laughter, and never giving up on each other.
And just remember, find out when you broke. Love won't get you on the bus.
Right. Always leave with that. Leave us with that, Eddie. And then, we dropped a lot of gems on you. We really did. We dropped a lot of gems on you. And we want to wrap up with telling you, if you love this, listen to our radio show, Lounge with Christina and Eddie, every Sunday on WLIT 106 from 3 to 7 p.m. Follow us on social media at Sledge House Media, Lounge on Sundays. And then also on our Substack, check out our books. And we just want to say goodbye.
Yes, thank you for hanging out with us. God bless. See you next week.
Thank you.
Lounging with Christina and Eddie, they're in the right place. Where inspiration meets real conversation. Lounging with Christina and Eddie. Love, laughter, keep it steady. 25 years still vibing strong. Feeling like you finally belong. From relationship gems to real life wins that bring a soul and spirit with every spin. Award-winning voices, storytellers at heart. With Sledge House Media, making magic as an art. So unwind up, live, set your week off right. Lit one, go, so shine that light. Lit one, go, so shine that light.